In 2025, a cardiologist in Pittsburgh who still saw patients every week was running a company worth $5.3 billion. He found his purpose in medicine, and he built this business from his love of medicine. This doctor's name is Shiv Rao, and the company he built might be the most important thing to happen to American healthcare in a generation. Let's talk about his story. Shiv grew up in Pittsburgh, and I'm not talking about the Pittsburgh of steel dynasties and old money. No, I'm referring to the Pittsburgh of art houses, basement shows, and skate parks. He was drawn to people who built things that didn't fit any existing category. When it came time for college, he stayed local, Carnegie Mellon, a school that sits at the exact intersection of computation and art. He wasn't a computer science major. He studied history, film theory, and was a nerd for music. He eventually went to medical school and became a cardiologist. By his early 30s, Shiv was a practicing cardiologist at UPMC and a venture investor at UPMC Enterprises, helping fund machine learning projects at the intersection of technology and healthcare. He was watching the problem from two angles: as a clinician who lived it every day, and as an investor who could see what solutions were. Every evening, after seeing patients, came the ritual. Every detail of every conversation, typed or spoken into a system that turned medicine into paperwork. He wasn't the only doctor who hated it. He was just the one who decided to do something about it. In 2018, Rao co-founded Abridge, a collaboration between UPMC, Carnegie Mellon, and the University of Pittsburgh. The premise was almost laughably simple. Record the conversation between the doctor and a patient and automatically produce a structured clinical note. That was Abridge. For 4 years, Abridge grew slowly. The technology was ahead of what most health systems were ready to adopt. Then in late 2022, ChatGPT launched, and the entire conversation around AI shifted overnight. Suddenly, hospital CEOs were asking their technology team why they didn't have something like this. The phones started ringing. Abridge was ready. In August 2023, Abridge became the first partner in Epic's new integration program. Epic runs the electronic health records of most major US hospital systems. Getting inside Epic isn't like launching an app. It requires technical and institutional trust that health systems extend to almost no one. Abridge had earned it. The effect was immediate. Thousands of hospitals could now adopt Abridge without friction, covering all 3,450 of their clinicians. And the story was about to get much bigger. By 2024, clinicians using Abridge were spending 86% less effort writing notes. The product was working. Abridge closed a $250 million Series D. The company's valuation? $2.75 billion. The most human part of the story? Shiv was still seeing patients. Time magazine added him to their AI influence list. The healthcare AI conversation, which had been dominated for years, suddenly had a new center of gravity. He didn't want to disrupt medicine. He wanted doctors to be able to do the thing they trained a decade to do: be in the room with a patient. By mid-2025, Andreessen Horowitz led a $300 million Series E. The valuation jumped to $5.3 billion, which is more than 150 enterprise health systems. An IPO is beginning to come into view. But with skill comes scrutiny. And the bigger Abridge grew, the more the questions came. Healthcare AI has a long graveyard. The clinical notes Abridge generates are accurate enough to deploy across 150 health systems. But accuracy in medicine is not binary. The legal and regulatory questions around AI-generated clinical documentation are still being resolved in real time. No one has fully answered what happens when an AI note contributes to a bad outcome. That's the thing about people who build from the inside of a problem. They don't have the luxury of walking away from it. They still have to show up on a Tuesday. By the end of 2025, a cardiologist in Pittsburgh who still saw patients every week was running a company worth $5.3 billion. I don't think Shiv built Abridge to become a founder. It seems more to me like he built it because he couldn't keep walking into that exam room and pretending the problem wasn't there. It turns out that's the most dangerous kind of builder, the one who still has skin in the game. Commendable.